Well, here we are in Colditz, famous for the Colditz Castle or Schloss, where in the Second World War some of the important prisoners were kept. This is in the square of Colditz, lovely town, and there in front of us is the outside of the castle. It's a damp morning here at Colditz. The time is about 9:30 in the morning, and we're looking at the entrance to the castle or Schloss. On the day that we arrived, the main entrance is closed and you have to go around the side of the castle and enter into the main courtyard. I've walked from the main entrance that was closed, I showed you earlier, and I've walked around the side of the castle. Here it is in front of us, and the main entrance on the day that I visited, which is July 2015, is in front of us. They're still working on the castle, as you can see. You realise when you walk along here how big the castle is. I shall just walk towards the main entrance. You see the scaffolding in front of us, still working on it. Some have said what a pity it hasn't stayed the natural colour, which I assume is like the stonework we see here and the main entrance. The main courtyard that we'll be walking into is now used as a hotel and a youth hostel. And it was in this area that the German forces were billeted in the Second World War. And as I say, this is the area where it's now a youth hostel and a hotel. We'll be walking through the courtyard in front of us, off to the right, and then into the main square that we all recognise. Well, we're now in the main courtyard, as I say, where the German forces were. This is where the castle has now been restored to a hotel and a youth hostel. And if we now walk through the entrance, in front of us you'll see where you get your tickets for the guided tours. This was the German quarters in the Second World War, and then you swing round to the right through the archway that is similar to what you see in the film, but I've been told it isn't the same place. It looks incredibly similar to the Colditz story. And there in front of us is the courtyard of Colditz Castle. I'm just going to pan around the actual courtyard. been told that none of the film, the Colditz story, was filmed here, although some of the features, like that door in front of us, I'll zoom in on it, is similar to what you see in the film, but in fact none of it was filmed here, I've been told. The dark skies overhead really sort of give that real impression of the gloom of this place in its Second World War period. If we swing round, you'll see the door here that it's a famous picture of various of the inmates, if that's the word, in front of them, including Pat Reed, standing in front of this doorway. They seem to have gone to quite a bit of trouble in the film to match the real castle. For example, if you look at the windows above the door that you see them going into their prison cells at the opening sequence, they're angled at the top. Tomorrow we're going on one of the extended tours. These last about 2 hours, and you see some of the escape routes that were used. So here is the escape hole that Pat Reed came out of from the coal yard and the potato store. We're now in the chapel of Colditz. 17th century, there was one widow living here. She established the castle luxury, and a lot happened those years. Installed a wooden floor, but for that purpose, the supporting beams were simply the wrong direction, across instead of along. And so to get into the other corner, they had to cut old oak beams. And yeah, imagine lying flat underneath. You saw the We're now inside the museum at Colditz Castle. Considerable amount of things to see. Looking through one of the windows into the town of Colditz itself. There's some really interesting things that they've found, like this ventilation shaft pump that's been found here. Some of the makeshift uniforms, and then we've got makeshift ladders, and this one round here which appears to be looking like a mousetrap, but it's actually a switch for a light in a tunnel.